my first EP collab, man. Oakland Vallejo, the Bay Area, stand up. I'm from that town. She from Vallejo. Said let's collab. She said okay. We all should play. Hot potato. Whoever got the hottest vibe. Challenge accepted. It's me, I'm the best. Like creative players on hunters, no less. The lines in your forehead just told me you stressing. Got G-O-D on me side. Ooh, he blessed me. All the lies they tell it's a vaccine. They're acting it's so bad like it's wrestling. Keep my circle so small it's insane. If you made the cut then you're part of my team. Just like bowling at pint golf strikes no gutter. Attracted to the mind but I like mine's hooder. She gotta have a pretty face too.
Hey y'all. Hey, welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel, B3ST Reviews. I'm Mrs. Best. As I told you all in previous videos, James would be back next week, but he has surprised us and made a return this week. Look at the Lord.
Yes, I am here, guys. I'll be off camera, though, unfortunately. I don't have a space yet for, my new situation. But, I just want to let you know I couldn't let you guys down. So I am here.
Thank you for being here. I love that you're here. I had to do my Love and Hip Hop lives without James, and I was just like, it always feels weird because it's like you're kind of talking to yourself, but, it worked out. Anywho, Nia Agree says, I like the intro. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will be sure to tell Mr. Best his song is the intro. It's called Let's Fucking Collab. My husband ratchet y'all, but you can find his music on all platforms. So, yes, also B3ST. Anywho, y'all, we are going to get into this damn reunion part 2, which is a mess. I'm glad that Nia's glad you're back. James, people love you. People miss you. Stay with us.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going anywhere no time soon.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Getting into this damn recap. The reunion leaves off in a okay place last week. I personally didn't feel like we needed so many parts. I feel like it could have been 2 parts because the first part I didn't really care for. But, it is what it is. But they mentioned Kyle and Doris and their friendship. And we get into basically what happened at the last reunion. They talk about what could have caused the rift between Kyle and Dorit. And basically, Andy mentions, fans mentioning, everyone mentions that it seems like things took a turn when at the last reunion discussing the issues with Kathy Hilton, Kyle's sister. Dorit said that it can't just all be Kyle. Dorit said that, or can't all be Kathy. Kyle has to play a part in it because it takes 2 to tango. I agree. It just seems like Kyle doesn't like being held accountable. No one's ever done it, believe it or not, in 13 fucking seasons. This is the first time people have. And based on what we'll see throughout the rest of this reunion, Kyle don't do well when she's having to be held accountable. So what do you think about do you think that Dorit saying that Kyle played a part as well when Kathy was there at the last reunion, do you think that is what caused the rift in their friendship?
No.
Or do you think it's something else?
That's something else.
What you think the something else is?
I think, and I said this in the last recap, I really believe that Kyle thinks that it was Doris that leaked the Morgan story.
Yeah.
That's what I really believe.
Too. I do too, though.
Yeah.
Because who else? I'm thinking like Kyle is around some rich people, elite people. She's been around people like this since before being on the show. So a lot of the people that she's around, I don't think fully would say it, but Dorit seems like the person that would be sloppy enough to either have her phone on speakerphone while Kyle is like venting and her staff's around and maybe one of them said something, or she seems like the type that would have, I just feel like Dorit is capable of it. Nia said, I ain't talk shit all week. This like therapy. She said it's therapy. Lord, help us, help us, help us. I think it is therapy to be able to talk about the shows we watch versus having to just keep all these feelings inside and then move on to the next show. We should absolutely talk about it, y'all. We should always talk about it. She says that's why she's at Dorito's neck. Damn. Well, I think what James is saying is probably more so why they're not cool. I definitely feel like something was leaked about Morgan. And when the stuff started coming out about Kyle and Morgan Wade, it was like right near when the season's going to be coming on. The only one who would know to plant it at that time, But we shall see. Moving it along, the next thing they discussed at this damn reunion is Kyle's new sobriety. As we all learned this past season, Kyle is no longer drinking. Doesn't look like she's partaking in marijuana either anymore, which she used to do with her husband. Now she's sober. Now, throughout the season, people have inferenced like, oh, is she not drinking because there's problems in her relationship? Is she not drinking because Morgan Wade, the country singer that she's been alleged to be dating and all these other crazy things? She is someone who is sober and has been sober for many years and credits her success and growth to it. So people are thinking that maybe Kyle's not drinking because of Morgan. And Kyle swears that it has nothing to do with Morgan Wade. I'm going to ask James Jackson, even though I probably know the answer. Do you think that Morgan Wade is part of the reason that Kyle is not drinking, or do you think that she's just going through a lifestyle change as a result of a divorce?
I think it's a bit of both. I think that sometimes when you can go outside of yourself and look at your life beyond, I think that you would make the changes that are necessary, because I think the thing with her husband, the smoking weed and the drinking and the things in the life that she has, is now becomes old when you are around somebody who influences you to do better. So for me, I think it's both. I think that she is inspired by Morgan to stay sober, but I think it's that she's exhausted because she realizes that doing those things doesn't really keep him in the same way that it used to.
Yeah, I'm actually not gonna. I think what you said just now showed an incredible amount of wisdom. So shout out to James's brain, but I also fully agree with it. I really couldn't have said it better. He'd be some obsessive fucking writers, y'all. Naya Green said Morgan showed her a healthy way to navigate her life at that time. Yes, I think that supports what James said as well. There's things. You never know who can inspire you. You never know who could push you or help you to see something within yourself or something different. I do empathize with Kyle a little bit. I've been with my spouse my entire adult life. So when we went through a separation, it was extremely fucking difficult because it's not just learning to live without this person, but it's also learning yourself without the person when you've been with them so long. So I do think that that's what happened, but your friends and whoever can offer you inspiration. Part of the reason I'm doing this YouTube channel is because I was inspired, and he doesn't know this because James had finally put out a book that he had been discussing for pretty much the entirety of my relationship with James. So your friends can push you to do things that you normally would not do, like be on a live talking to people when you're an introverted shy chick, you know? So, you know, I think that you're right, James, when you say it has to be a little bit of both. Moving it along, y'all. We they mentioned while they're talking about Kyle's not drinking and sobriety, Sutton chimes in and decides that she's gonna come for Kyle. And I was actually glad. At first, I was like, wait, Sutton, what are you doing? But then as she went on, I was like, okay, this makes sense. So Sutton came for Kyle because Kyle basically was insinuating with Dorit, as we saw multiple times this season, Kyle planting seeds, starting shit, and talking shit. But she insinuated that Sutton has a drinking problem. Anytime Kyle has had an interaction with Sutton this season that didn't go well, she was like, well, she could have been drunk. I don't know her mindset, or, you know, alluding to things of that nature. Kyle basically gets extremely defensive because Sutton made a clear point, and it seems like she cannot admit that she is wrong. She starts getting hyped up and going off and going in. And we then see Crystal step in and defend Sutton, saying that Kyle and Doris had talked multiple times on camera, laughing and insinuating that Sutton has a drinking problem. So I'm going to stop there before we get into more, because a lot happened with this weekend. Let me first say, I don't think that Sutton has a drinking problem. I think that Sutton is a Southern girl. I have family in the Deep South, in Bible Belt states, and even in the Bible Belt states, they drink differently. I don't know what the hell it is, but they just do. So I don't think Sutton has an alcohol problem. Do I think she drank a lot this season? Yes, but it gives me more. I'm drinking because I'm on camera, and every season these people talking about me by the millions. I don't feel like she has a drinking problem. How did you feel about that interaction? And do you think that Kyle has insinuated that Sutton has a drinking problem? Renowned author James Jackson.
You're so crazy. Here's the thing. To me, it was trying to pinpoint an excuse. And that's usually what Kyle does, is Kyle tries to find something to make someone else wrong in a situation. I don't think she has a drinking problem personally. And when she was doing that infamous name situation, to me, I thought that was a mind fuck, to be honest with you, because of what Kyle said. And to me, I think Sutton played her. But see, the problem with Sutton is too innocent. And I think that that's why it didn't land that way. But for me, looking at it, I just thought she just played her. Because what Kyle said was, you tend to overreact in a lot of given situations. We know Kyle does that shit too. Kyle overreacts. So when Sutton did the name him thing, that was to prove the point that no, you do the same thing, and this is this given situation. So I just thought it was a mind fuck. I didn't think she had a drinking problem at all.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I do think her drink at that time, because we saw Avi had made her a drink that was way too strong, probably gave her the courage to name them. I said, ooh, I like you even more now, Sutton. I like you even more. Listen, name them. God damn it. I'm telling y'all, I'm getting a shirt made, and I'm going to put on it Name Them by Sutton Strack. And I'll wear the shirt because I loved it. Anytime anybody tries me at work, I actually did this to a DM at a job I just left because he's a fucking asshole, and I can say that now because I ain't there no more. And I hit it with Name It. Name it.
One of my sales reps.
Explain yourself. Explain yourself. He didn't know what to do.
I didn't do one of my sales rep. I didn't do it in the southern accent like I wanted, but I said name. I said name him, Mark. Name him.
Not Mark. He called him out.
Name him. I want you to see that clear. I want you to name. No, because he has said that I didn't email somebody and that I always drop the ball. And one thing about me, when it comes to me professionally, I don't drop any type of situations. I respond to everything. So I said, name one time I dropped the ball. Name them. I want to hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, so shout out to my favorite housewife, Sutton, for bringing that to all of us, because we now use it.
David, bitch. Listen, no, for real, Sutton got it, Kyle, in the appropriate way. And when Kyle couldn't answer the question. Well, see, because yeah, if you look at the scene, she couldn't even name a situation. If something so passionate, name the situation. So Kyle is defensive because I think Kyle realizes for the first time on the season, people are fed up, fan-wise, to put out your divorce thinking you're going to be able to monetize off of it and also get empathy and sympathy from the public and not get it. I feel like that's bothering her. So I feel like Kyle's backed into a corner. I don't even think it all has to do with Mauricio. I don't buy shit. But she does get defensive. Crystal defended her, and I'm happy that Crystal's doing this. We have to remember Crystal and Sutton are now cool. So Sutton's got some backup finally. And that's the thing when dealing with Kyle, especially, but Kyle and Dorit, but especially Kyle, in my opinion, from watching this show, it's better to have backup when dealing with them because they're manipulative as hell. And just a bunch of heads is always better than one. So Kyle then brings up, because since she could not win that banter with Sutton, she then brings up how she was treated at the dinner that she did, where she wore that outfit where she looked 2 sizes too hungry and had this big hair. She's not aging well, even with the plastic surgery. I'm gonna just say that.
No, she's not.
It's just like at all. And I'll be damned if I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix my face and it's just making me look worse. I don't get that. I'd rather just be how I was before. But she's mad at how she was treated at the dinner at her house. And, basically at the time of the dinner, when Kyle did that dinner, all the ladies were over there and they all questioned her relationship and what was going on, as well as her behaviors. Now, I feel 2 ways about it. I feel like she's going through a separation. Even if you didn't know about it then you know about it now. So those who are really Kyle's friends, like, I understand to some point giving her some type of grace, but you can give people grace while also holding them accountable. And I think that that's what they needed to do with Kyle. No one knew at the table that they were separated, her and Mauricio. And she only admitted to having a hard year in her relationship after all of the women collectively called her out on bullshit. So I don't know. It's like, how is that treating you wrong if people are asking you questions? And then we hear Kyle say this bullshit, and I'm gonna look at my phone because I wrote it down after rewinding and quoting it. She's been on the show, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, for 13 years, 13 seasons, and she says that she has shared not only her family. She says we've watched her kids grow up and all of these things. She says she couldn't have been on this show for this long if she wasn't sharing. And that's her trying to manipulate shit again, in my opinion. Kyle, you've been on this show for 13 seasons on bullshit, not sharing stuff until it comes out or hits the press or it's on camera. Starting with, as James likes to refer to, you in the back of that fucking limo with Kim. That's when we learned all these issues and family ships that you have. You used Kim, in my opinion, as a way to share stuff at her detriment, not benefit. And it seems like she then used Kathy for that once Kathy came. And now that she's on her own, we're seeing all her bullshit. So how did you feel about what Kyle said about being on the show 13 years? Do you feel she shared? I don't feel she shared nothing outside of the good.
I feel like she did it out of convenience. I don't feel like it was her willingly opening the information up. Because that's, to me, you first season sharing your business was to exploit your one sister for being a drug addict. So let's not act like that was willingly. You did that to embarrass her. So that was a convenience for you because it made you, even though it didn't, but it made you look like you were the one that had actually common sense and not her. So let's not do that. Season number 2, I didn't watch, so I didn't give a fuck what you did. Season number 3, same thing. Season number 4, same thing. I didn't watch. I didn't come back until after Faye left, and then that's when I started watching again. And even then, when your sister was into it with Lisa Rinna, you didn't stick up for her. So that was convenient for you to attach yourself to that drama. So I'm sorry. I don't agree with her. I don't agree that she shared willingly. I think you shared for face value and to make yourself look good, which to me makes you, egotistical and almost a narcissist. So get out of here, Kyle. No.
This is why people don't really want Kyle on the show anymore, outside of famous people who she seems to be friends with or knows that watch it. Kyle, I agree. Anything we've seen, she showed us the good. Here's the thing. If you go to my personal Instagram or social media page, right, you're going to see pictures of my husband, us on vacations, all these things, right? You're not going to see that I just looked at a PG&E bill and was like, wait a second, why the fuck is electricity this much? Like, you're not going to see that. It's just going to look a certain way online. So I feel like that's what Kyle does. She shows us the good of a marriage, the good of a relationship, which is human nature. You want to show the good of stuff, but that doesn't mean that there's something bad going on. And it also doesn't fully count if you're controlling it. So I don't buy what Kyle said. I mean, she has been on the show. We've watched her kids grow up, but we don't see these kids all the time. We're not at their bar mitzvahs all the time and, school plays and shit. We're watching you deflect and bullshit and backstab your friends, Kyle. So, it is what it is. She said when people went off the script, they became the villains. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. That's exactly what happened with that. So, moving it along, Kyle then comes for Sutton. Well, she tries to come for Sutton. And this proved also Kyle does not know how to read at all and is not good in interactions. Really at all when it comes to her being wrong or talking to people. Because she says to Sutton, how are you going to say I don't fucking share? All you've shared is a horse and a dating coach this season, which we know was not true. Sutton was the reason for the cast trip. Sutton, yes, she did show her horse Santos. We saw her talking to a dating coach and also attempted to date. We saw her discussing her store. She talked about her relationship with her ex-husband this year. We saw her get rid of her friend Merce in the purse. Okay. So Sutton gave us enough and a lot, which
what Kyle was trying to do is Kyle was trying to embarrass her because also she gave us a catchphrase that everybody is doing. Name. Like, come on, like Kyle, like this is what once again, Kyle get on my nerves because she's so pretentious. It's like you don't want her to outdo you on the show. You don't want her to become more popular than you. Yeah, that's the problem here. We're not, and none of us are stupid. We can see what you're doing. So you're telling her that she's not sharing nothing but her horse, so that way you condemn the popularity she's gaining. We're not stupid, Kyle. We could see that shit.
Yeah, Kyle then uses that name situation to say that while she's also not letting Sutton speak, our delusional ass is going to say that Sutton only came on this season to talk about Kyle. Kyle, Sutton came on this show as Lisa Rinna's friend, number one. Sutton came on this show with money. She had y'all bitches in a private jet when she was a friend of. I don't think she's here to talk about you. Beverly Hills is supposed to be one of the housewife shows where we see like money that's different from the other housewife shows. You know what I mean? So I don't think it was that. I really think what James said is true. And if you look at the history of Kyle, she fell out with LVP when LVP was at her most popular peak. Mm-hmm. She continues season after season to fall out and have issues with people who get popular. When Camille came back and people started to like her, then she started having issues with her. When Taylor's ex-husband passed away, she suddenly was close and then had issues with her. Taylor Armstrong is on OC now, I believe. Kyle does this season after season after season. If you get more popular than her, then she's going to befriend you and then she'll eventually take you down. That's how I feel, but Naya's laughing. Merce with the purse. Merce with the purse. That was the funniest thing. Naya Green also said Kyle is the common denominator. I think that she is in everything. She's the only one that's having problems with new people and things like that constantly. So, yeah, Kyle's obviously a problem, but she's narcissistic and elitist as hell and pretentious, and she's not going to, that's going to make it hard for her to admit or see that she's the problem. So, moving it along, Andy Cohen, the host, interrupts and speaks, and he asks the women if he thinks that Kyle insinuated that Sutton has a drinking problem. And the women didn't really get to answer, but we did get Crystal's answer. And Crystal said that she believes that Kyle participated, but that it was more so Dorit that was making those claims, aka Doris. And this is what pissed me off. And I'm gonna just let y'all know, I have a filthy fucking mouth and it's about to come out because the way that Dorit behaved, and I think James knew watching this that I would go in on Dorit. Because this bit, I'm gonna try and do it right though, because I told my husband I'm gonna work on cursing, but I don't understand why Dorit even feels the need to like step in and speak. And when she does speak, Dorit says, I don't know if I insinuated that Kyle has a drinking problem. I don't know. How the fuck don't you know if you insinuated something? Either you did or you didn't, sis. Like, which one is it? Which one is it, Dorit? How did you feel about Dorit saying she don't know? We know that she knew, but how do you feel, James?
I feel like she crossed Kyle too far and she was trying to save her ass. And that's all that was, because she's not this oblivious. Like, she's not. And the fact of the matter is that you burn it. You know how you burn one part of, leverage and you try not to burn the other one. So you trying to play it safe by standing on it. That's what she's doing.
Yep.
And it's so annoying because it was like, look, man, you either gonna do one or the other. Either cuss her out or kiss her ass. Do one or the other.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's pretty much all that, you can do. So we did see Sutton basically responding to everything. I fully think Kyle and Dorit are full of shit. And I think most people will feel that way. And they're going to lose a lot of fans after this reunion, personally, individually, and together. But Sutton does come out to say, and I was glad she cleared it up, I do not have a drinking problem. And I am not going to continue to defend myself over some shit that I know I don't got. And then Dorit says, clear as day, no, Sutton, I don't think you have a drinking problem. But blah, blah, blah. And Sutton stops her and it's like, can you repeat that? I need you to repeat that because you guys have laughed about me on camera. And Crystal brought this up when they asked, why do you think it's a problem or that they're insinuating it? Crystal says if these women had done or had one conversation like that, fine. But on camera, there were multiple conversations that they had like that. And I did agree with Crystal in that. But Dorit, after admitting that Sutton does not have a drinking problem. When Sutton says, well, can you please repeat that so that people can hear you clearly? She refuses to do it, doubles back, and goes back to the I don't know bullshit. It's insulting now, Dorit, to the audience that you think that anyone is so stupid to believe you. We watched you fucking insinuate stuff. This is the same Dorit who, before Crystal ever came to the Housewives of Beverly Hills, Doris loves to remind us that she has a degree and speaks 5 languages and has been traveled and is seasoned and all of this. But you expect us to believe that you don't understand how to tell when you're trying to insinuate something. Like, how can you get a college degree and not understand what it means to insinuate something, Doris? That don't make no type of sense whatsoever. What I learned,
educated to be able to assess that. I just feel like the problem with her, and like I said, she is falling deep with Kyle, or she is some quicksand right now. So she's trying to hold on to any leverage she can, because if Kyle don't fuck with her, she has no one to film with but Erica.
And Erica don't fuck with Dorit.
Yeah, no one's gonna fuck, because the other 3 ladies on my side of the couch, they're not gonna fool with her. Because you call one a child bride, you were making racist emplacements with the other, and then you accuse the other one of being an alcoholic. Them ladies ain't finna fool with you.
Right. While throwing microaggressions up the wazoo.
Right. So my side of the couch told her to kiss their asses, because I'm telling you, you better hold on to that leverage with Kyle, because that's all you gonna have, and that's all she is gonna have is the leverage with Kyle.
And that goes to the privilege of Dorit and the pretentious narcissism of Kyle. Because they both, what I got from seeing this is the first reunion these two have been held accountable by most of the cast. Even Erica Jane over there was agreeing with some of it. And I don't know. It just proves they can't handle the hot seat. Dorit and Kyle are the example of people who can dish it out but cannot take or receive what they give out and put out into the world. So I found that to be interesting, but all good things come to an end. If Nene Leakes will leave Housewives of Atlanta, if Kandi Burruss can leave after 14 seasons in a row, shout out to Kandi Burruss for that, then anybody can leave and the show can still go on, in my opinion. So they'll see. Kyle and Doris are not used to this, but I think they're going to, especially with the diversifying of the cast, adding an Asian woman and having, African-American women on the cast and people of different backgrounds, it hasn't really gone well for Dorit and Kyle. So I think it's going to help show their true colors. But moving on, we get to a fun discussion a little bit, y'all. And do me a favor, if you are here, I never say it, I'm really bad at this, but if you guys could like the video, it's an easy and free way to support the channel. If you really like us and you're new, or if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate all of you for watching. Subscribe to James's channel as well. The link is always in the description of the video. We both appreciate all of you so fucking much.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much.
Naya said that part. Anybody could be hired and fired. Exactly. Exactly. Turnover is a real thing. It's a real thing, and they don't see that in themselves. So we then get into the infamous dinner with Denise Richards, where she was allegedly off of something. She appeared to be under the influence of something. I'm saying she appeared to be that. Please don't come for me with your lawyer. She was married to Charlie Sheen, so I don't know what the hell she's capable of. So I'm gonna cover my ass. But basically, they discussed the dinner where Denise was there, and they basically talk about the instance and situation with her and Erica, where Denise was watch the show, Erica. Yeah, I'm like, oh Lord, this bitch. She be
what? No, correct me if I was watching it not that long ago, and because I was like, she said something else, and Erica started laughing at her, and that's what Kyle and Sutton were out to say. She said, "Did she have too many of the hors d'oeuvres?" And I was sorry. I said, Denise. I said, I don't know what she on. But I was like, Denise, is the way she said it. I'm telling you, the crackhead that always,
not the crackhead, James.
I always be trying to ask to get them an airhead or something. That's what she reminded me of.
I feel bad for those kids, because to have your dad be Charlie Sheen and then have your mama come on camera acting like Charlie Sheen in his youth. talking about
I'm trying
threesomes.
to
And
tell
only
you
fans.
that was not it. I don't know what Denise was
Naya said, why would she show up so lit? Because she was lit and probably didn't know she was lit. You know, when people be lit, they can't admit that they lit. I just said lit too many
What
times.
did she say on Watch What Happens Live? It was some cough syrup or something. She was on something. She said,
What
I
is
got to watch that. She was on Watch What Happens Live last night, and I can't remember what she said, but it was funny.
Well, what was she on? They prescribed her the actual lean that the rappers be drinking. I had that prescribed to me after a surgery once, and it put me out, but I was so out of it, I wouldn't have been able to even get myself up. This lady got up and fixed herself to put on a jacket backwards and made it to a party, and somewhat stayed on topic with trying to read Erica. So I don't know. I almost want Denise, you know, allegedly Andy Cohen likes to playing with his nose, as the song says. So maybe Denise needs to go get some of what Andy allegedly has, because I heard that'll get you right together if you fucked up and need to like get yourself together. But I don't know. I don't know. She said not the syrup. I mean, shit, we don't know what she was on, but in the words of Nia Green, it definitely not alcohol. It just was not. Did you say something? The computer cut out.
Oh, sorry. No, I was saying no. I was agreeing that definitely no. That wasn't no liquor. No, I know the difference between drunk and you out your fucking mind. Like no, she was gone. Like whatever it was, she was gone with it. It was not pretty.
And it looked like she'd been on it for a while. Why do white women are messed up like trash?
Like, she started at 8 in the morning and then it came right. Yes, that's exactly what they look like.
She looked toe up though. I said, why do white women do that? Just had an eyeliner looking a mess because they drunk. I don't understand it. Moving on though, because they say, because I don't want to go over it for those who didn't watch, they go over Erica and Denise's issue, and they seem to think that Denise is more upset at Erica for not backing her up when Lisa Rinna was making the allegations of what was going on with Denise Richards and her husband, all of those things. I didn't see the point talking about it because Denise wasn't really there, and it was really, she was only there for like an episode or two. They talk about Dorit trying to help the girl fix her jacket. Listen, all I want to see from Dorit, I want someone to get back to asking her about her accent. There was a time when almost every reunion people would ask her of her accent. It seems to have gotten stronger. So I just want to know, like, does she know anyone else in Connecticut she can refer us to that speaks that way? I'd love to know. Because I'm just saying, like, I'd love to know. English was not my first language. I speak it fine. I don't think anyone can tell. So, you know, just because you speak multiple languages doesn't mean your voice is going to do that if you was raised in Connecticut. Okay, God bless America. Moving on.
It's not so much like her voice. It's like it's the fact that you can't really distinguish what type of accent it really is. Like you can't distinguish. It's not British, and then it's not Latin. It's like it's literally she has a mosh posh of different accents that she brought together and made one. Like it does not sound familiar.
Oh Lord help us, Lord help us. Moving on. All the states, she's so well versed. From Connecticut, girl, what? Of all the states. Yeah, I didn't understand why she said that. Connecticut's beautiful, by the way. Just as a side note, it is beautifully. Naya said respectfully. I'm reading the comments, y'all. Laughing. Be sure to comment if you are watching. We will engage with you. We then get to Erica saying that Dorit and PK would break up at BravoCon. And that's when they start to play the clips of all that happened with Doris and her man, PK, Mr. Paul Kemsley, throughout the season. Don't laugh at me, James, because you know why I'm just like, I don't like PK and Dorit as a couple. I've never really liked them. And I think part of the reason I never really care for Dorit on this show, other than the microaggressions and her just seeming like uppity.
Right.
The marriage between the two, like she really came on as the friend, as the wife of Lisa Vanderpump's friend. So it's interesting to see Dorit evolve, I guess, in some ways, but I don't really care for her marriage. It's very annoying. So we see everything that they went through, and Andy asked Dorit if she's on a budget. because fans have noticed, and some of this I didn't even notice. They were talking about Dorit has brown hair now, not blonde, and they're saying that that's because it's cheaper for her to go brunette. Her changing out certain things that she's doing, him having to travel so much more now, like just little signs that they may be struggling financially. I don't know why they always talk about these small signs, like the girl dyeing her hair as a sign to her struggling financially, when Bravo and these people in the reunion can pull up the public IRS notices and, you know, receipts for payment that have been floating around online for Dorit and PK. Like,
I mean, I agree with that. I don't feel like that was any type of indication that she's struggling financially. Like, to me, if like she was wearing the same outfit more than 3 times, and that's because, you know, she usually doesn't do that. Now that would be more of a teller for me than her
right.
hair, because anybody can buy a box of dye and do your own shit. Like, that ain't nothing. But I don't know. I feel like there are other signs that they could have pointed out.
Yeah, I agree. That's the best way to put it. But Dorit explains herself, you guys. I really cannot stand this woman, so I'm gonna go over this the best way that I can. If you guys feel I'm missing something, comment and let me know. But Dorit basically goes to answer the question. And the question was, I want everybody to remember this because my husband was like, what's wrong with this bitch while watching it with me? I am telling you, Andy says, Dorit, are you on a budget? Dorit says, well, my dark hair, Andy, was because I needed a change. And as soon as she said that, Andy starts yawning. And she tells him, don't you dare, Andy. And she does not see that she is supposed to be responding to a yes or no question. Andy did not ask her an open-ended question. For let's have school, y'all. For those who are unsure, yes or no, closed-ended question. Did you go to the store today? Open-ended question. Is there something you would like if I were to go to the store? Like there's a difference. She was asked a question that required a yes or no, and she responds with something that has nothing to do with the budget, talking
Which
about
is a form of her lying.
right. Yes.
Much.
Thank you, James. That is a fact.
Absolutely.
So Andy yawned. He's sick of it. She says, don't you dare. And she just did not see that she was fucking up. He interrupts her again as she's not answering the question. And he says, so you're not on a budget. And then she said, no. But then she stopped at all of the same way of that no. She said, well, I'm on my own budget. And then she said, no, I'm not on a budget. So
it was
from
like,
that.
It was like, ma'am, you're confused. You either don't have the money you used to have, or you're on a budget. Like, which one is it?
Listen, I'm going to say this, and James can attest to this. We wanted to start a YouTube channel years and years ago, but could not because we were on a budget. So, you know, nothing's wrong with being on a budget. The richest of people often follow budgets and are fickle as hell with their money. That's how they're rich. So this is probably why Doris is having issues with her budget, because she seems to see an issue with even having a budget, when a budget doesn't always mean that you're broke. It just means that you are following a certain plan for your money with a purpose, or you just like to budget things out because that's how you do. It doesn't always have to be something negative. So the fact that Dorit obviously viewed it as something negative was annoying, but I was honestly surprised that Naya had commented this earlier. Dorit and Kyle just did not know what to do or what to say. I was surprised at how Dorit was answering the question so poorly.
I wasn't surprised by that.
She says she don't know what to say unless it's a speech about nothing. Damn. I thought it was a nice comment. The mouse was over the other end of it. I'm cracking up. Naya said Doris is making Andy yawn every year. Yeah.
I mean, because it's bullshit, and he knows it. And it's like, he's young because she's so long-winded. It's like, you ain't even got to do all this. All you got to do is answer the question and then shut the hell up after that. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
You want to give this long-ass monologue about your life and where you at today and how you're doing this, how you're doing that, how you're in this place, how you're in that place. And then you're trying to throw some math equations on top of it to confuse us, and it's not working.
Yeah.
That shit does not work anymore.
Yeah, I'm sick of Dorit. I really am. But fortunately, y'all, we got to keep talking about her. I'm glad they got her segment up with in this.
Yeah, me too. Because there was no way I would have got to the end of this and wanted to listen to her. So
no, I don't blame you because she was annoying. So after the bullshit of her not being able to answer a yes or no question, and she gives us a no, yes, no, we then move on to discuss basically the discrepancy of her robbery. There are major discrepancies in her story of robbery when a grown man that don't care for this show pauses his video game because he is hearing on the TV a lady talk about she was robbed, but they left her phone, and then they was robbed, but they left their wallet, and then she was robbed and targeted after leaving the park. We gonna get into it, but she had my husband like, oh, this bitch lying. So I just don't understand all the discrepancies in her mini robberies. Dorit got robbed. It was, I believe, 3 times that, and it seems to have happened like all in the same year. She just went through like, I guess what I would call a series of unfortunate events if they were legitimate. I am just inferencing based on what I see. Everything I'm saying, just so I'm protected, I ain't trying to get sued, is alleged. It is based on my opinion of what these women show us on the show. I don't think that she was robbed as many times as she says, but I do think that one legitimate robbery actually happened, if that makes sense. I don't think it happened more than once with Dorit. I think the other times were bullshit, but I do think the first time might have been legitimate. But they do discuss the $10,000 that we had talked about throughout the season. She alleges that $10,000 was stolen from her, that she says she took out originally to get her kids Christmas gifts. That's what she said originally. And I went back on demand and sat through commercials to rewatch the episode to make sure. Now, because fans were questioning it, everyone was questioning it. Apparently, Dorit left the $10,000 that she withdrew from the bank in a cart of some sort because she forgot something in the store. So she left the money somewhere to run inside to do something. And she's making it seem as if she was just leaving the money to run inside real quick to, do something, as we've done before, forgot something, had to run back in. Here's the thing, though, y'all. The most financially irresponsible person would not leave $10,000 away from them. If I have that much cash on me, I'm either going straight home, straight to the bank, straight to the place I need to spend it, or that shit is staying on me with me.
exactly.
I'm not separating even for 5 seconds from that much cash. So she says that she was targeted and someone stole the money when she ran in. But again, why the fuck would you leave $10,000 cash, unattended? And this is not like the Midwest or, farmer, rural areas, small towns where we keep our doors unlocked. This is California, number one, motherfuckers. And number two, LA, which consists of Beverly Hills. LA, people don't understand like the geography of it. It could be Beverly Hills looking down on the hood. It could be like, it just doesn't make sense in such a populated place to leave so much money unattended. And if you're trying to tell us you're so rich that you weren't tripping, but then come on the show and cry, it doesn't work. So how did you feel about the story after she gave like her clear story of?
It wasn't no clear story. First off, it didn't make no fucking sense. Let's be real. Her story didn't make any fucking sense. And the problem that I have with that is the fact that we didn't believe you then, but the fact that you changed the story, we don't believe you now. So it's like you could have said you were better off just saying, "Hell, I threw it on the side of the road, hoping somebody will pick it up." Yeah.
Yeah. The bitch is a lie. Okay. I thought the devil was a lie, but the devil, oh shit, Dorit, devil, they both start with D, just double D's worth of lies. That's what it is. I believe she's a double D in bra size too. So look at that. It just doesn't make sense. I didn't even mean to do that. I mean, it's true. It's true. It's exactly what's happening. What's up, Exo Avaka? Shout out to you. He says, I'm eating. So I'm going to eat and watch you. Well, I'm not sure if you watched the Housewives of Beverly Hills, but thank you. Thank you. I love him. He's just very talented. He's very, very talented. He also reminds me of one of my younger brothers. Anywho, moving along, I think we can all say we think Dorit is full of shit. So they move on to Garcelle because Garcelle made comments and threw shade that I lived for in her confessionals. So I still wish Garcelle would give more outside the confessionals, but I still love her. But Garcelle says that she believes Dorit was robbed, but she thinks that there was a lot that seemed off with her stories. I think that's the best way to explain it. And I agree with Garcelle. Dorit's claiming to have been robbed. What is it? 2 or 3 times?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's 2 or 3 times. I believe she was only robbed once.
I don't believe she was robbed at all.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I don't believe she. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I don't. I don't believe her. I don't, because it just is too convenient. And the stories all sound absolutely insane. Like to me, when I study criminal justice, I get nobody who robs a person at gunpoint or theft or anything like that. I get it's never the same. But the fact that your stories are so inconsistent with all of the situations, it makes me feel like there's more to this than that.
Well, I will say, to add to your point and support it, there's jobs like being a profiler in the FBI. There are people trained in forensic and criminal psychology. There are people who just go to school for criminal justice and learn about that. And in order to do any of those jobs, to some extent, when people commit crimes, whether they realize it or not, they are doing something that is predictable and can be explained through some form of science or psychology. So it doesn't mean everyone's going to do the same thing, but usually people have similar experiences. So Naya says she can't even keep her lie straight. I'd be yelling at Dorit through the TV, Naya, like, girl, you ain't got to lie to kick it. Well, got to lie to kick it, Dorit. You just
no,
don't.
she don't. See, and this is another one of my points that I'm going to make here, even still. The problem is, because you're absolutely right. There's a lot of parallels when it comes to certain crimes. There's a lot of parallels. But the fact is, with her, it just seems like it's so out of sync with crime. Like, it just does not seem like, because to me, the fact that you knowingly have $10,000 in your purse, but you leave it to run the store because you forgot something, that does not sound like somebody with common sense would do something that irresponsible and illogical. It just does not match to me.
Yeah, because Dorit is full of shit. And what they said further with Garcelle when asked what seemed off, I don't think Dorit expected Garcelle to answer so quick. She says it was odd that the robber left your phone for you. And this is where I knew Dorit was full of shit, and I'm gonna have to read her, because this dumb bitch really proceeds to say, well, let me explain, Garcelle, why a robber would be so kind to leave my phone. You really just called a robber kind. Why are you defending the character of a robber if you have PTSD? If you have PTSD, how are you able to talk about this right now without seizing up or panicking or having some type of emotional or anxiety or mental response to it? I don't buy half of the shit that Dorit says. I think that what Naya said in this comment that we see on the screen is probably what went through Dorit's head. She truly believes that she's elite and will get special treatment in a robbery, when the shit barely made page 6. I mean, like, it wasn't even
right. And then I actually want to look at a copy of the police report.
Yeah.
I want to actually read it.
It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And I don't know if the people were caught, but from the last I checked, they weren't. I would love to know if the people who robbed her were caught and found. Unfortunately, I think it's shitty to rob anybody, but
I agree.
Also say I know people who are close to me sitting in jail right now for aggravated robbery and home invasion, stuff like that. Unfortunately, my badass cousins in the South. But let me tell you this. If I was to tell them, like, would you leave your phone if you robbing somebody and they're like, please just leave my phone, especially if you're coming out of a nice neighborhood, I guarantee you they say no, because motherfuckers know, unfortunately, depending on how you grew up, you know, ain't nobody finna rob you and then leave you with a phone. That gives them less time to get away and you time to get the police on their ass. They want to get away with crime. So it's very strange that they would do that, especially the way he left it. I thought that was weird. Like usually like leave the area and throw the phone over the gate or something.
Right.
But to like keep yourself on camera for longer than possible and longer than necessary, I thought that was strange. I just don't buy the story. And then the $10,000. So Dorit, I think, tried to tell a lie, and I think she thought she'd get away with it. She didn't get away with it. She's not believable. So now she's trying to lean in on PTSD. I've been robbed at gunpoint. Once at gunpoint, a second time with a knife by a crackhead in San Francisco in the Tenderloin. And when I tell you that if that's actually happened to you, it fucks with you. I still sometimes have nightmares to this day because of it. Like, it's not funny that she's playing with PTSD because people who actually, suffer from it, it's not a joke. And she don't display really very many symptoms of it. And her own husband don't believe her. So why would we?
That's another telltale sign, but I digress.
He said, I digress. Listen, I will too. Let's read this comment. Nia Green says, remember the cry scene the year she got robbed at her home? Convenient camera was rolling, so she broke down in that scene. That's the person she is. Cry for the camera. Yeah. Nia said it's really not a joke.
Because if I got robbed like that, I would take a break from filming. I would tell her, look, I'm not about to sit up here. I have too much going on right now. I need to skip the first 2 weeks of filming, and then I will come back.
Which they would have been willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why Dorit didn't do that. Ex-Vodka said, do you got a concealed carry weapon permit, Lord? The men be like, wait a minute, you need to get safe. Mr. Best is always like, you need to get a gun, Beijing, you need to get a knife or pepper spray, carry a weapon. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that. But eventually I will be looking into at least learning how to shoot a gun because my husband wants to get a gun. And he's like, if it's going to be in the house, you got to know how to shoot it. Okay. See, you don't want me to know how to have a gun because anytime I hear something in the hallway, I'll be pulling up on my neighbors like, oh, it's just you. You don't want that. Me with a gun is not good. Moving it along, you guys. Do me a favor and like the video if you're still here and have not liked it. I appreciate you, and so does James. Doris is just slow, so we're going to move on from that. We've talked it to the ground, but Sutton then comments about the rumors on PK. And I felt like Sutton tried to read Dorit. I felt like she did a good job. James feels like she should have went harder.
Mm-hmm.
But, I like that Sutton did say, well, you must have heard I had a drinking problem from the same streets I heard something about you on. I said, oh, okay, Sutton. I need Sutton to go hard on Dorit like she's gone on Kyle. Because I do agree with Crystal in that a lot of the heavy insinuations that were like cruel or stuff that could really impact someone's reputation, Dorit was extra vocal about it. But I was happy that Dorit and Kyle were getting red for filth throughout this reunion because it just does not happen. So they then discuss PK doing the pretty woman date for Doris. I know some of the viewers, I'd be looking at my little analytics, maybe younger. I don't know if younger people are still watching Pretty Woman. I love that movie. I just feel like it's a classic and it gives me nostalgia. But for those who don't know the movie Pretty Woman is it Julia Roberts? I believe her name is. The movie's about a hoe. All right. Shut up, James. I'm trying to do it. It is. I'm trying. Let me try again.
It was, but I just caught the reference.
The movie is about a hoe, or a call girl, a hooker, a whore, whatever the hell y'all want to call it. And essentially, she goes and, she meets this guy and, she's supposed to be servicing him. And then they end up like, falling in love. It's like a romantic comedy for hoes. Shout out to sex workers. It is decriminalized here in California now. I did not know that. So I was driving down East 14th, which is a common hoe stroll out here in the Bay Area. Look it up if you know, you know. And I seen hoes hoeing and cops, just letting them. I was like, what the? But I get pulled over if I go fast, but they could just. But that's what I learned. Oh, it's decriminalized because I looked it up. I did not know that. But yeah, Pretty Woman's movie about a hoe, basically turned into a wife. Hoe turned into a housewife. That's where it come from. So for her husband, oh shit.
And what's funny is that when they were playing that scene, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, so is you like Loki calling your wife a hoe? Like why is you replaying this scene?
Listen. I hope my husband's watching. If he's not, I'm gonna play this for him later. Don't you ever, Negro, think that a date for me is first of all copying a movie, but not copying no movie about a hoe turned to a wife. God damn it. I just want that to be known. That doesn't make any sense. XO Vodka says, shout out to sex workers. That's the last thing. Listen, sex workers, oldest profession that's been around, they work hard. Like, they work hard. I couldn't do it. That's just a lot. But they work hard. So, hey, shout out to the ones who's doing it legally, I guess, if that's possible. But it's weird that PK threw that type of date for Dorit. They bring up the no, Naya, not step your game up. They do the date, and it was meant for him to like be to do a gesture and all of this, but it just came off really bad. They showed a clip of Julia Roberts coming on Watch What Happened Live, and I had actually watched that episode of Watch What Happens Live. Even Julia was like, I don't think that was like good, but I'm glad she saw the woman, but it's not appropriate for a date.
It wasn't, and I'm glad she was on Watch What Happens Live and she spoke on that, because it was like, to me, I would have been insulted, and then not to mention he got the damn song wrong. Yeah, because that was from Top Gun, wasn't it? Take My Breath Away was from Top Gun.
It was.
I'm like,
it was.
Oh my God. I was like,
actually, that song was not. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Well, this is why James does movie reviews.
Because that's why I want to do them more, because I have reference to everything.
It's just crazy to me that someone would think that that's even a good date. But Julia Roberts pointed out something, like, we all knew, it's like, okay, you know, you're referencing your wife as a hoe, but Julia Roberts pointed out the worst part in the movie. The main character gets this necklace. PK did the same thing, but told Dorit, now you can't keep this shit though. Okay.
Which you would tell a hoe.
Right? Ooh, that's like, listen, Pippin ain't easy, PK. He took that bitch. He said, look, you can have all these things. You like how that feel? Now, bitch, get out there and work. You can have one.
I'm trying to tell you, that's why I was like, she think this shit is cute, but this shit is highly insulting, because there's no way.
She knew it was rude, because her face when it was happening, and I was like, damn, you really do look like Julia in that movie, though.
The hair, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like
actually, it was more so. It wasn't so much that it was Pretty Woman. It was more so Steel Magnolias when Dolly Parton was doing her hair. That's what it looked like, more so to me than anything. But yeah,
that's no better, James. No better.
But she wasn't no hoe in that movie, though. We going to hell.
we are going to hell. We really laughing. I gotta stop. All right, back to professional Mrs. Best. I'm trying, y'all, but we really laughing. Dorit is funny. It's laughable now. They bring up headlines of the rumors about their divorce and separation. And Dorit says that since filming has wrapped, that things got really hard for herself and PK. And she says that he was staying elsewhere because there was something. Oh, I'm going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, let's get back into it. I cannot, I just can't. Oh, she says they had a hard time after filming wrap. She said that he was staying elsewhere. it was clear that you had a hard time. She said that man, when the finale happened, was in the UK and away from not just her, but his kids for 39 days. Like, damn, Dorit, how bad are you? You get on Andy's nerve. The cast can't stand you. Kyle don't want to deal with you no more. And your man is running off to London. He said, fuck the kids. I just need to get away from this bitch for a moment. So I'm just kind of looking like it's kind of obvious you had or were having issues in your relationship. But I'm just going to keep it real, even though I don't care for Dorit. If she would have been forthright with the struggles in her marriage, like on camera, then I wouldn't laugh. But to try and make it seem like everything is good as he's feeling the need to throw a grand gesture, calling you a hoe that's, materialistic, I just can't. Yeah. But basically, she won't admit that they separated, but she will admit that they were living separately. She says Boy George came into town, who we know PK manages, also a close family friend, and that PK was staying with him in a hotel. And it's like you're telling on yourself, Dorit, because when Dorit first came on the show as a full-time housewife, Boy George and, PK's career and what he did for George was, they were having performances with Boy George, like year after year after year for birthdays and all this extra stuff. And they said, and he was introduced as living in the house with them when he's off. So it's strange that he would be in a hotel with PK when he's usually in the house that you have that's large with you and the kids. So obviously those two are separated or were separated at that time. Mm-hmm. Anywho, basically, Andy then asked Dorit, how are things now? Which I really feel like Andy Cohen cannot stand her. There's a few housewives, and we should one day do a live about that, who Andy, like you could tell he just can't stand. I feel like Dorit is one of them because he be cutting her shit short. Yeah, so how are things? And she says with the awkward, unbelievable pause, they're better than they ever have been, after it looked like she was going to cry when asked that question. Do you think
it was so dramatic? And it was like, oh my God, man, either y'all are doing okay or you're not. Like, you doing all this shit and all these dramatics and just, all this hysteria. It's like, I can't with her. I can't. Yeah. Are y'all doing okay? Were you separated before you got to this reunion? How did y'all get back on track? Like, this is the shit she could actually use to get on the show with, but she chooses because of her image.
I think she's copying Kyle and
yeah.
I think a lot of people tend to mirror the housewives that have been on the show for the longest, thinking, oh, this will keep me on the show. But regardless of how we feel about Kyle, she's been on the show so long because she is herself. Dorit, if you're trying to copy what other people are doing, then it's never going to come across as genuine. But congratulations to PK for being sober for 49 days. So that's a good thing. I hope he stays that way. Being with Dorit, though, if you relapse, bro, we forgive you. We forgive you. We do. Moving it along, we then discussed how Kyle was not supportive of Dorit, telling her what was happening. Basically, Kyle was not supportive at all of Dorit with Dorit's marital issues, and Dorit had felt like that was an issue. But at the same time, Dorit doesn't feel like Kyle was the best friend for not telling her like what was really going on with Kyle and Mauricio. And then Kyle says, and I find it interesting with the other woman, is I don't have to share. I've been here 13 years. But with Doris, Kyle can say, well, I isolate when I'm going through something. And, I'm like, well, if you isolate, why couldn't you say that when talking to Sutton or these other women's? But with this woman, you give that to. Anywho, I'm not going to discuss that bullshit because their friendship irks me. What I will say is I guess they're going to be cool now because they say they want to have a conversation about that. Do you have any comments on that?
No.
Yeah, it's like, okay. I feel like Kyle and Dorit kept having the same conversation throughout this reunion, too. It's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it definitely was. It's just in different contexts. But yeah, it definitely was the same conversation. Absolutely.
Right. Like, okay, make a plan to talk and leave it there, y'all. And for those wondering, because we are about to discuss Erica Jane, I am not going to cover, I believe it was only one episode. I thought she was going to get a whole, separate spinoff show, but she got a spinoff episode. But her what is it? Bet It All on Blonde, it is called. Let me know how that was if anybody watched it. It's basically a little docuseries about Erica's Las Vegas residency and what she's going through with all of that. But I'm not going to recap it just because I'm not even going to lie. I'm too busy for that right now. But we see what happened with Erica throughout the season. And then they mentioned Sutton bringing up the shade about Erica's tickets being $7, which I thought was funny. Listen, as much as all of these women have came for Sutton, it's interesting how they get so butthurt when Sutton comes for them once about something that's true, because it really was like $7 tickets.
It was $7 tickets, and and you got your nerve. That's it. Look, ma'am, I'm gonna be honest with y'all on Mrs. Best channel. Erica is a fucking nobody on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I don't give a fuck about that non-existent singing career or anything like that. The fact of the matter is, Vegas didn't think highly enough to make your tickets any higher, which means to me that your residency contract couldn't have been that much. So I don't want to hear that. Like, it is what it is. We Googled it. It said $7.
I want to say that you could see a hologram of Whitney Houston, Tupac, and Michael Jackson for more than Erica.
Exactly.
Holographic forms of people that ain't here cost more than her tickets.
But she want to get mad at somebody for pointing out the fucking obvious.
We would have found out anyway. They're public prices. And I think that is absolutely ridiculous. I am going to see T-Pain in Las Vegas because he has a residency later this summer. Huge star, actual celebrity. And I believe the tickets after taxes and stuff were like $45 a ticket. So,
wow.
Yeah. I mean, but he's performing in a club in that new Resorts World. So I think that's why. But even so, Vegas tickets, you can go see Cirque du Soleil at Mandalay Bay, the little Ka show, the Michael Jackson show, all of that. You can go see a show, like a legitly good show from actual professionals in Vegas for $100 and under. So it's like $7, Erica. I have never, and I love Vegas. Y'all, I'm there every fucking year. I'm trying to get James to come with me. I'm gonna figure it out. I might just snatch him up. Anywho, they then ask about the man.
To meet you out there. Vegas is only a 3.5 hour drive.
You're 3 hours from Vegas? You sure are.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Vegas is nowhere from Phoenix.
Yes, you do always see those tours for Arizona and stuff when out there.
Yeah.
I'll tell your ass when I go out there. Shit, I might buy you a ticket. Like, James is coming with us. Anywho, Erica discussed a man that she's been seen with, or the cast does. And basically, this man is an old friend of Tom Girardi's. She says that he is her private lawyer. He is, for those who think that Erica's lying. Erica does lie well, and she lies about a lot. I did watch both documentaries of Housewife and the Hustler on Hulu. The man was in the documentary, I believe, and he was friends with Tom. I guess the man claims that he feels sorry for what Tom has done to Erica or something like that. It has helped to pay for stuff and is overseeing her legal team. So that's what's going on with that. She says it's her private lawyer. What the fuck is... Aren't lawyers private? What? I didn't understand that.
I didn't understand that either. It was like, to me... her explanation talking about he felt sorry for her. How the fuck he feel sorry for you when you were willingly a participant in that shit?
You signed stuff, and you signing stuff puts you at fault, even if you didn't know what you were signing.
Right.
Do the right thing by these victims. If you're so broke, talk to your lawyer and see if he can organize a payment plan or something that's affordable so that people can at least get something monthly. But I'm getting to a point where I either don't need Erica on the show or I need her to do something right with this situation of court. Because now we know that, Tom has been found competent to stand trial on multiple things. And so that's going to change things. And we'll get into that a little more because Crystal did make some comments that were actually viable, but I didn't want to ignore Naya's comment. She said, "Oh yeah, she popped up on my Peacock. I did not see. I'm not sure I will." I don't care to watch a show about a girl prepping for a show, especially one that can't sing. You know, I'm just
saying.
Even if Erica could do "It's expensive to be mad," like off key and shit, like I just did, I'd be fine with that. But do something. I don't. Never heard her. With
I feel like she would be. I feel like she would be, a good villain in like a TV series. I feel like she needs to do like some kind of acting, where she could be like, kind of like one of those movies where like it's an evil mother-in-law kind of situation.
Called her the evil.
I feel like she would be perfect in that. Kind of like a Kim Cattrall kind of esque situation. Even though no shade to Kim Cattrall, because that's one of my favorite actresses ever. So, but I'm just saying I could see Erica kind of taking on not so much a Samantha role, but like one of the other roles Kim Cattrall had, where she played like the uppity mama or something. I can see that.
I agree. I think she would actually do okay with that. She's so dramatic. She can't sing or dance. She'd be looking stiff. So, hey, it is what it is. They then move on when talking about Erica to why she did not want to comment on the victims. And she says that it's because she felt like she would appear guilty. They then move on to ask her about her meeting with the victims, which she did on the documentary that I've discussed a few times on this channel. And Andy Cohen asked Erica, why did you meet with the victims? What made you do it? And she says, because my counsel advised me. And she also says she wants them to see how she is in real life, that, she's a real person and all of those things. Before I move on, I think that saying I met with the victims because counsel advised me to was the worst thing she could have said.
Right, because that documentary didn't do her. I had to turn that shit off.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even watch it. I was like, oh no, absolutely not.
That's the moment she should have been silent to say, I met with them because my counsel advised me to. Now, the prosecutors in the case can take what you just said when they say, well, judge, see, she's doing all of this, because that's why counsel advises you to do things like that. It helps you look better in front of the judge and jury. And now the judge and jury is going to know that you're disingenuous in your meeting with these people and that you're only doing it because you were forced. And why didn't you do it sooner? Which tells me that you've been fighting counsel on this probably for some time. So Erica is a disaster. It's a disaster. So moving on, we didn't talk about Tom Girardi being cleared to be competent enough to stand trial. And Crystal brought up a good point. Tom Girardi, out of nowhere. First, their marriage that was fine and working for them is suddenly in shambles and they get divorced. Then after she files for divorce, now all this stuff about him fucking over victims, going back to the 70s, just fucking over people, stealing money and all of that. All of those things come up. Why the hell? Why are all these convenient things happening? Oh, Erica could get in trouble for all these pending lawsuits that Tom had to know about, especially having ends with the bar. Now suddenly she's not attached to him and struggling. Then things come out. Now suddenly we're finding out, oh, Tom Girardi, he can't stand trial. He has to go to an assisted living facility. I think that man is fine. I don't think
he is too. I think he's bullshitting.
Yeah,
I think he's bullshitting. I honestly, because nothing about this sounds like you trying to get out of some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because your ass is old.
Judge Crystal brought up a good point. Alzheimer's is a fast progressing disease, as well as Parkinson's, as well as many other diseases that impact memory, right? These are things that people will progress to extreme, like Crystal said, basically, she has her father had Alzheimer's, someone in her family had Alzheimer's, and she's part of the Alzheimer's Society. And Crystal mentions, mind you, she also wanted to be a doctor and has a sister that is a doctor, that the disease progresses fast, and she believes that it's strange that he was found competent if he truly does have Alzheimer's, because doctors are often brought into trials and things to speak on the competence or medical or mental health of a patient, in this case, Tom Girardi. And doctors, lawyers, everyone found him to be competent. So how can you have dementia of some sort if you're competent enough to stand trial? That means you understand what's happening to you. And that means that you're well and healthy and able enough to reap and suffer the consequences
Exactly.
And that's what we have to remember. So Garcelle said it at the end of this scene because Erica couldn't really answer for that. And Garcelle said, I get what you're saying, though, Crystal. Someone's lying. And Crystal's like, well, yeah, because that doesn't make sense. You don't just get suddenly found competent after only being diagnosed with this disease for like a little over a year. Has it been that long? So, yeah, I think that someone is lying, and Garcelle said it's probably Erica, and she just don't want to be caught in a lie because any lie that she's caught in right now with all these lawsuits coming can fuck her, to say the least.
I feel like it is anyway because that's why the judge hasn't granted her a divorce. So
we said that too on the show.
Yeah, like they're not going to grant her a divorce. They're going to wait to see what this court case plays out to be, and hell, even after it plays out, hell, she might still have to be liable and married to him.
Yep. And it's not hard to get divorced in California.
It's not.
It's not hard at all. They'll divorce you.
It was just the way she did it. See, the way she did it made it seem like she was trying to evade any responsibility in that. It seemed like she got the heads up, overall, that this shit was about to happen, and she tried to get out of it before he got caught.
I think Tom's friend that people are alleging to see her with and who's giving her all this money, I think he warned her. I do.
I do too.
Yeah. And that's probably how she figured it out, and she's trying. But when you try to get ahead of something, sometimes you're so busy trying to get ahead of it, you're not paying attention to how it's perceived. And that's the problem with Erica. Moving it along. Oh, Lord. Y'all, I'm losing my fucking marbles. This damn live is taking forever. There's so much that happened in this damn live, but we moved on from Erica. So now we're going to go back into Sutton. We've talked about Sutton a lot, but they finally give Sutton her moment where they show like all that she went through with the season. And I'm going to say this, Kyle, when we named him, and it looked like she went through a lot fucking more than just having a horse and a dating coach. And you won the talk and make it seem like someone having a dating coach isn't content when your ass is getting ready to get divorced and might need one yourself. Just saying. Doesn't make any sense, Kyle. But they discussed the Magic Mike incident when going over Sutton stuff. And she basically says that she thought that Magic Mike was a Broadway show. And she does admit to overreacting. I do think that Sutton knew what Magic Mike was prior to this show. I did ballet for many years professionally. The American Ballet Association is pretty strict, but at the same time, they're not going to trip out on that. Like, there's been lots of ballet moms, dance teachers I've had, when we've had shows in Vegas that have gone to Magic Mike excitedly, and they was fine. So I'm glad Sutton admitted to overreacting, but she does still say that the elevator incident when she saw Erica's friend and made her apologize was like an opportunity for Erica to humiliate her. I don't think that Erica planned it, but I do think that Erica used it as a way to get back at her, which Erica also admitted. But then Erica says in the reunion that wasn't her intention. Yes, it was. If it wasn't your intention, then why say something when they're trying to leave? They have suitcases. I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong? I don't understand.
Because you just said, hey, how y'all doing? Get home safe.
Right.
You didn't even have to do all of it. But see, you
were
like, oh, Sutton, here they are. Now you can, it's like, yeah, no, you intentionally wanted to embarrass her. And that's what you did.
Yep. And just admit it.
Right. We're going through all this rigmarole all for you to be like, oh, no, it wasn't like that. It was like, it definitely was. I don't know what she was looking at, but I was looking at you doing that. And Sutton better than me because I'd have called Erica out right then in front of them. What I got to apologize to them for?
Right. I would have asked them, did I offend you? And left it there. Because if I offended you, you can say something to me, but I don't need you doing all of this.
Yeah, I don't need her to correct me on what I need to be doing. So sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was bullshit. So we find out Sutton was acting a fool, she says, in Vegas, and a lot of scenes in the show because of what happened with her ex telling her he was moving to London and saying that she and her son need to move there as well. That's why I don't think Sutton and her husband fully done with each other, because if she has a child that's, in his teens on it, not like a small kid where they need to be near each other, why does Sutton have to move to London with you as well? Like, I don't fully understand that, but Sutton says that basically her behavior was off because of that, and that her ex, like in what he does, the money he has is powerful, and he does have some type of control. He gets what he wants. I don't think these women on the cast can relate because they are married to wealthy men or were married to wealthy men, but none of them have been with a man as wealthy as Sutton's, except for Kathy Hilton, who don't want to deal with these hoes no more. So I don't think they understand what that is truly like. If that man wanted to use his power to shut Sutton's shit down, he really could.
Yeah, he could.
And we have to remember that. So I think that's why the ladies don't empathize or understand her when she talks about like the struggle with the husband.
It comes off as jealousy. That's all that shit is.
Yeah.
So because we know Kyle not gonna get no $300,000 a month and no damn spousal support and a cash lump sum wired to your bank account and all that shit. She ain't finna get that shit.
No, but Kyle also, to be fair, doesn't need it. I think the person and people who are more jealous, though, definitely Doris, definitely Erica. Listen, they were both got with men that they obviously were not attracted to and who were not their type for money. That's what I believe. And now these niggas is broke and they look like fools. One of them's in lawsuits and the other is looking like a hoe and pretty woman. So I mean, shit, that's what's happening. Moving on, Sutton then says that Kyle saying that she had nothing but cashmere and a house hurt her feelings. And Kyle says that she only said something mean because Sutton said something mean. Kyle is gross, lacks accountability. I'll just leave that there because we're trying to end the live, y'all. We've been here almost 90 minutes. Sutton's spousal support comes up. They discuss what she made. I didn't like Anne-Marie's comment. Bitch don't know how to be quiet and be in her place. Bitch needs a shock collar and a muzzle. I don't understand why Anne-Marie even spoke. And it really showed how much of the season she was not a part of. We got through, we only got her a few episodes. So
I didn't even hear what she said. What did she say?
So Sutton's spousal support comes up, the amount, and Anne-Marie commented, she's like, dude, the way I grew up, we don't speak about things like that. But if they asked her what she was getting in spousal support, she was asked the question and she answered it. Anne-Marie, stop being mad because you were 8.5 and got 8.5 money.
Okay, because we know you ain't gonna get that 8 months ago. Girl, look, I ain't mad at Sutton for sharing that information.
No, we haven't gotten anything from her on her spouse, but we knew that she was filthy fucking rich because as a friend of, she booked a private jet. So her saying what she gets and her helping him build that company, one, I think she deserves it. And two, she only answered and exposed it once asked. So I don't think nothing's wrong with it. Thank you, Naya. She said no one asked her. Long-faced, mind you.
It's time for me to go. I got to go.
Oh my God. Lord Jesus. So basically, Kyle talks about taking a break from Sutton after they move on from the spousal support. And the reasons why they're taking a break just did not make sense. I'm going to just say this with Kyle and Sutton, just don't be Sutton's friend, Kyle, if you don't like her. It's very simple. And it seems like Kyle's friendships, we said this earlier, always tend to end when her friends get big or popular. It's just the fact. So they then talk about Teddy just ruining her father's legacy, Teddy Mellencamp. And they mentioned what she said on Watch What Happens Live with Kyle about Sutton and a few other people. And Sutton basically explains what we've all been thinking. Kyle has been relentlessly mean to her. And when Kyle was like, what? Let's name him. She says, I'll do like Denise, bitch. Watch the show. So that's where it stops for this reunion. But I definitely felt like this was a jam-packed part 2 of the reunion.
That was so much shit.
I was like, it was a lot. But I do think that everybody keeping their foot on Kyle's neck is appropriate. But I think that part 3 is going to be all about the demise of this marriage. And
I'm not looking forward to it at all. So.
I'm letting you guys know right now. I'm going to talk about what I can, but we've already said pretty much what we can say, unless Kyle tells us something new that we don't know. what is the point in discussing the separation that was kept off camera the whole season, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
we shall find out. Anywho, we've reached the end of our recap for the Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 13 Reunion Part 2. This was my recap and review with James from Watch Your Mouth Reviews. Do me a favor, you guys, if you liked what we spoke about, like the video, share the video so that we can both continue to grow our channels and keep getting good content out to you. I am done for the night. I'm tired as hell. I appreciate James for being here. You made play. It means the world. I hope that you enjoy your night. Nia Green, under pressure, keep foot on neck, Sutton.
Right, exactly. Thank you, Nia, for showing up. We appreciate you.
We really do, you guys. The next recap we'll have on the channel. I don't know what day James will. Oh, wait, we did Bold and Bougie.
We did Bold and Bougie.
Oh, shit.
I do need to do an update video, so we may do one on Sunday. We have some RHOA news that has come about. We need to go over the seating chart for Real Housewives of Potomac and their looks.
Oh, yeah, that did just come out. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right, y'all. Well, you heard it from James. Be on the lookout on the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channels for that update video. Other than that, we'll be back on Tuesday and Wednesday with our regular recaps. We love y'all, and we hope that everybody has a good night.